BF conveniently waited until we were engaged before telling me that he has a fart fetish. My 25F boyfriend turned fiancé, 31M, have been engaged for just under a month. On Thursday he divulged to me that he has a fetish for women farting. More specifically, women farting during sex. I overcame the initial shock and managed to hide my disgust for long enough to hear him out. After he finished explaining himself, I made it very clear to him that I am not comfortable with that fetish and will not be doing that for him. He acknowledged that. I'm starting to think I may need to rethink this relationship. If I won't indulge his fetish, then how will he? I don't mean to kink shame, but certain things are just too far. It's a huge turn off for me and I haven't been able to look at him the same since he told me, or even think about having sex with him. Maybe I'm being too judgy and I need time to calm down. But I'm angry that he kept this from me for years of dating and waited until we were engaged to tell me something like this. It's a red flag, it's manipulative, and it makes me wonder what else he could be keeping from me. Plus, marrying a man who has that fetish would be a deal breaker for many. Sexual compatibility is one of my top priorities. What should I do? This would be a deal breaker for me. Even if you don't want to kink shame, I have the feeling that there's a lot more vanilla shaming going on these days, but okay, you 100% can character shame him for engagement trapping you. If you aren't comfortable with it, then just do whatever works for you. You still have time. It's really strange reading a lot of these comments. The tactic itself is not manipulation, sure, okay. Yes, he could have waited because it's difficult to bring up and talk about, and wanted to feel solid and comfortable in the relationship to share, sure. But, if there was something I had going on, that I knew might change someone's mind about me or make someone uncomfortable to know, then I wouldn't fucking wait until we got engaged to tell them. I know a lot of people aren't seeing it as manipulative, but it doesn't sit right with me just doesn't. If I had a weird fetish that could be a deal breaker to some people, I would tell them before getting engaged whether I liked it or not, because it would be unfair of me to not say anything and make them feel trapped after getting engaged then telling them. That's pretty much what your fiancé did. You don't feel comfortable with someone after getting engaged to tell them things. You need to feel comfortable enough with someone to get engaged. I don't blame how you feel. I don't think I'd forgive them for this myself. I'd always feel like I'm lacking something. I'd be way too afraid to fart in person now too. He told you probably because he was hoping you'd indulge him. Doesn't matter if he's okay with it if you don't want to, you know the truth now. Only you know what to do. But I'm letting you know that how you feel is okay and warranted for this, no matter what other comments are saying. Comments did not pass the vibe check. If it disgusts you and makes you uncomfortable and makes you lose attraction to him, then you have every right to leave him. Ignore the whiny babies in the comments. Not everyone has to be okay with every kink, or comfortable with it. Jesus. Y'all need to stop trying to force women to be okay with things they're not, especially in the bedroom. If there's a correct time to tell a woman that you want her to fart on your face, I don't think I've ever heard of it. It's your call. My 30 GF 24 discovered my ex looks a lot like her. She's upset. I'm confused what to do. I've been dating this girl for 2 years. I always knew my current GF and my ex looked alike. I wouldn't call them twins, but it's obvious there's a lot of similar features: ethnicity, facial features, body shape, height, fashion sense. I wasn't hiding it, the topic just never worked its way into conversation, and I don't have pictures of my ex in any of my social media. Today, while browsing some old files on my external hard drive together, my current GF came across pics of my ex and I. She looked surprised at first and brushed it off, but within a few hours she was picking at topics like whether she was just a replacement. She left my place a while ago. She said she wasn't mad, but she was extremely weirded out and needed time to think. I'm not really sure what to do. If your girlfriend is a different race from you, maybe she's afraid that you fetishize her. That's exactly what I thought. If she's a minority race, especially Asian ATM, I would also be afraid his type is actually a racist fetish. If it's not the case, I would suggest he write down everything he likes about her, like her quirks and habits that make her unique. I was kinda mad/weirded out when I discovered that I look practically like a carbon copy of every girl my BF ever liked or dated. It made me feel like I was just the latest edition. It also makes you feel incredibly unspecial, and while it may seem childish, I think a lot of us want to believe our love is special in some way, so finding out you're just the latest in a line of doppelgangers isn't super pleasant. I would suggest approaching it with the understanding that you probably just made your GF feel like your attraction to her is base and obvious. She probably wonders if your feelings and attraction for her are genuine. Try to give her relief about the way you feel about her. Let her know that, yes, you have a type, not admitting that made me angrier personally, but that she is a uniquely composed human being and that your love for her is completely unique and separate. Then maybe you can have a good laugh about it later. How long did it take you to feel less weird about it? I admitted to her last night that her style/features obviously drew me to her, but it was her personality that really clicked with me. She wasn't too happy either way. Thanks for the feedback. I get it, she's now wondering if you actually like her for her or just because she's a close approximation to your ex. It's kind of like the difference between having a preference and a fetish for a certain group of people. Space and time. Do not force a conversation. This is the way. My cousin did this. His baby mama was blonde, chubby, certain kind of face. Next girlfriend was like a replica. They got married and had 2 kids though. Maybe you have a type, maybe you have a type, maybe, but is it a bad thing? I didn't date her strictly because she looks like Z, but I guess I was more willing to approach someone who looks like XYZ and ask them out. My boyfriend's 6-year-old still thinks her parents are together. Is this weird? We've only been dating for 6 months. I'm 27, he's 32, and I haven't met his daughter yet, which is completely fine. That's a lot for a kid to take in. Plus 6 months isn't really a long time. He does have a 14-year-old son whom I've met once, just the other day, and that was okay. Here's where I don't know if I'm being off. Over the past 6 months he's had a lot going on with his kid's mother. I only know what he tells me and I'm not sure what's true and what's not. So here's what I know. Last year on Halloween he said his BM hate the term baby mama, but we'll keep this semi-short, brought his daughter to his house so he could do her sugar skull makeup. The man is not artistically inclined whatsoever, so I was skeptical about that lol. Supposedly while he was busy with daughter, BM was upstairs rummaging through drawers and found his wallet, which contained a Polaroid of my ass. She was livid and supposedly went on a rampage, breaking glass tables and furniture at his house. He says they broke up in July 2020. He also said that she has a boyfriend, so why would she be so enraged that he was talking to someone else? Another instance, he claimed the BM and children were at his mother's house and they got into an argument there, which for whatever reason resulted in him javelin throwing the Christmas tree, and a police report was made against him. I don't like to ask questions about things that aren't my business. If I'm dumb for not asking for more details, or if that would be not okay. Fast forward to last week. He's talking about Easter and how he always gets his daughter all this wonderful stuff, but then he said it's weird because she still thinks me and her mom are together. She doesn't know any better, her world is all rainbows. Immediately a spark in my brain went off. How could she still think her parents are together? Growing up in a broken home at a young age, I knew that my parents weren't together. They didn't live together, they didn't hug/kiss/talk, etc. Am I overthinking and being insecure about something I shouldn't because I don't have a 6-year-old daughter and don't know the naivety of today's children? Or is this whole thing a red flag flying over a shit show? Update. Thanks everyone. I was originally just going to compose a list of questions for things I feel left out on, but after reading all the advice I think I'll just javelin throw the whole man away this evening and save the questions in an attempt to avoid any bullshit excuses. Girl, he is 32 and getting police reports made on him for javelin throwing a Christmas tree and has a snooping BM. As you said it, this whole thing is a red flag waving over a shit show. Do not get caught up in this mess and please, do not get pregnant. Take care of yourself. And yes, I'd be asking more direct questions. If he can't answer them, he's a rat. Please javelin throw this man away. He has much more serious issues than whether or not he's lying about his kid's mother. I cannot imagine hearing that a man I've only been dating a few months literally javelin through a Christmas tree in front of his children and being like, yeah. No follow-up questions here. How is this 6-year-old so confused? US yay, the 6-year-old. Am I the only one getting vibes that it is probably because he is still with her? Honestly, this whole thing was a red flag flying over a shit show even before I got to the part about the 6-yo. I cannot for the life of me imagine being only 27 years old, with so much ahead of me, and choosing to tie my life to this fucker.